Hi guys, Dave Shillito here again. I know I announce who I am. Does that sound strange every time I make a video? I announce who I am. It's because these videos appear on various different places, on Vimeo, on YouTube, on my own blog site, all over the place. So I'm always assuming that not everybody knows who I am, so that's why I always announce who I am. So again, it's Dave Shillito here, and this is a quick dose of Dave video. Today I'm going to talk to you about handling objections, and in my humble but often accurate opinion, the best way to handle objections is to pre-handle them before they even show up. So today we're going to talk about pre-handling the price or fee objection. Now you will only get this in markets where you are not a commodity. All right, people struggle to make value judgments in a vacuum. It's just a facet of human nature, and so if what you are doing for the client is unique, then the only thing the client may have in which to base a value judgment of whether or not your fee is too high is the lens through which they see the world, which will have been shaped through their own childhood programming. Okay, so you can't do anything about that. You're going to be battling against such a thing. You can't do anything about it. If you're about as far from a commoditized industry as you can get, which I'm hoping that you will be, what you're doing should be unique, or look or smell or walk or talk as if it's unique anyway. So what is under your control? And what is under your control is the frame. So let's say that you're offering a service that can make or save the client or their business money. All right, now this is going to be a fact. All right, you've got to be pretty damn sure that you're a good fit, a good message to market match, that you're sat or on Skype or whatever with your ideal client, and you're pretty damn sure that your service can help them save or make money, which is quite likely. Otherwise, you wouldn't be in the conversation in the first place. So that's pretty much a given here. Now, it's also got to be established as a fact that they've either been losing money for a while up to that point, or not making as much money as they could have for a while up to that point, right? So this script is all about these little yeses. These things are all a given. I mean, you would not be interfacing with this client if they didn't have a problem, and their problem is either they need to be making more money in their business, or they need to stop hemorrhaging money in their business. So the first part of the script is about establishing how much it has cost them not fixing the shit so far, right? Whether that's saving money that they haven't saved, or not making the money that they could have made, or they've lost, or whatever. Let's say over the last 2 years, for instance. Okay, that could be flexible, but let's say 2 years. Now they have to agree that not having done something about fixing their leaky bucket has cost them money. Like I say, that's pretty much a given, otherwise you wouldn't be consulting on the call, of course. So the first part of the script is we're going to, it's not a rigid script, I'm just giving you the idea. It's called backward and future pacing. So we're going to ask the client to give us their own figures. We're going to ask the client to approximate, because that's all it has to be, an approximation of how much they think their leaky bucket has probably cost them over the last 2 years. Right? Now, they may need some help quantifying that. If they go, I don't really know, then you may have to deep dive, how many sales do you think you've lost? What's the average order value of the sale? Blah, how long have you been doing this janky behaviour? Yada, yada, yada. But eventually the point is that they'll eventually come up with a figure. It's their figure. They'll have come up with it, and they will therefore obviously agree with it. An amount that they've probably lost or lost out on over the last, for instance, 2 years. Let's say, for argument's sake, it's 50 grand. I don't know. Every situation's different. But for the sake of illustration, let's say it's 50 grand. Then what we do, having established what they've lost over the past 2 years, is then we immediately project forward over the next 2 years and say, well, oh, right, okay, so that's 50 grand over the last 2 years you've lost or not made by not fixing this. Would it be fair to say that if we don't fix this shit now, the chances of you losing or not making another 50 grand will just carry on? Is that right? Now, they must say yes at this point, which if they don't, obviously they don't agree with their own figures. So you'll have to cycle backwards until they have a figure that they agree with. But the magic of this is that they will be agreeing with their own figures. So they've estimated roughly how much they will have lost or lost out on over the past 2 years by not fixing the shit, by not fixing the leaky bucket. And then you immediately forward project them and say, okay, so it's fair to say if we've lost 50 grand over the last 2 years by not fixing this leaky bucket, then if we don't fix it today, going forward, it'll probably be another 2 years. And you say, I'm nodding and they'll nod along. Probably be another 2 years. In another 2 years, you've lost another, 50 grand. Is that fair enough? Would you agree with that? And so they will, because it's their figures. And then the last part of the script is, okay, so over the 4 years, you probably lost out on, 100 grand? And they'll go, yeah, probably. And here's the magic close. Oh, well, don't worry. I'm sure we can fix it for an awful lot less than that. Boom. I'm sure we can fix it for a lot less than that. So they've just articulated and agreed with 50 grand in the last 2 years, 50 grand in the next 2 years. You've led them down that path. They've agreed with all these stats, and then you've said to them, right, okay, so it's fair to say that if we don't fix this now, over the 4 years we've just talked about, you'll probably be about 100 grand out of pocket, right? If we don't fix this now. And they've got to say yes. And then you can say, don't worry, I'm sure we can fix it for an awful lot less than that. No matter what your fee is, 5, 10, 15, 20 grand, it's always going to be less than 100 grand in this instance. But that's a way to totally avoid or eliminate that's too much, or your fee is too high, that's too expensive, by pre-handling the fee or price objection. And again, as a quick recap, what you're doing is getting them to commit to how much they're not fixing the shit has cost them over the previous 2 years, immediately forward projecting them into, if they don't fix it now, it's going to cost another 50 grand. And then once they've agreed to their own figures at that point, you can say, so in summary, so what we're saying is if we don't fix this now, it's likely over the 4 years to have cost you upwards of 100 grand. At which point they'll start nodding along. And then you can say, don't worry, I'm sure we can fix this for an awful lot less than that. Done. My name is David Shillito. If you want more like this, please look me up on davidshillito.com. You may have seen this as part of a Dose of Dave email. You can sign up for those regular free daily emails, or more or less daily, I don't know, however often I feel like sending them out, at davidshillito.com. And if you want to join our online Facebook discussion group, it's called Think Like an Entrepreneur. All you have to do is search for that and look for my ugly mug. While it's still free, that might be a good thing to do. There may be a link somewhere around here. So that's it from me. Hope you got value from that, and I'll catch you on the flip-flop, as we used to say in CB land all those years ago. I'll give you the numbers and go 10 all the best to you and yours. Break a break. What a sad specimen I was. Bye.